because I don't think a bad back, like I've never had a lot of injuries, but a bad back is not a good injury to have. And yet that's as tough a kid as I got. So I'm hoping that by the end of this week I'll have better information on Josh. We had to let it settle down. You know, they gave him some kind of medication. It's supposed to take a couple of weeks. We kept him in the boot. We did with the specialist. I guarantee you one thing, I'm not as a specialist, but we have had him to specialist. The kid's been in good spirits. Of all the guys on this team, there's not a guy I feel worse for than Josh. You know, some guys love the game, some guys like the game, some guys love the game, and some guys are obsessed with the game. Josh is obsessed with the game. So all I would say is tell your readers or to tell your bosses that you've done your job, and I'll make sure everybody knows every media guy has done their job. So those guys that are sitting behind the desks, you know, not appreciating how hard it is to do your job and ask me these questions, they've done their job, and this coach has done his job, the trainer, the doctors, and Josh has done his job. Everybody believes in some other thing in their world. I believe in one that I think it's in his hands, and it's not in my hands. So I'm not frustrated that you keep asking, because I think you guys have been cool about it too. I'm frustrated that I don't have an answer for you. And hopefully I do, and hopefully when I do it's a good answer. But we're to the point now where, you know, we've had to play a lot of games without a guy that was averaging 17 points, was my best defensive guard, and becoming a better rebounder, and one of my most experienced guy, because he started every game since his freshman year. And I think the story should be what an unbelievable job these guys have done to weather that storm without a player of that caliber, and let people know that that isn't easy to do. And those players, not the coach, those players have done an incredible job of missing their best leader, one of the best three-point shooters, one of the best free throw shooters, definitely the best defensive guard, and one of the better rebounders and the most experienced guy we've had. And I know injuries happen, but injuries don't always happen. We've had years when we've had none. Those are usually better years. You know, some teams, you look at Duke, they've had one injury. That guy got injured, had a serious impact on a couple of games. The alum that you are, I know you sit by the radio and listen to every game. Would you agree with that?
The one they lost.
It's the one they lost, and the other one they almost lost. So it's the way it is, guys, and it is frustrating. It's more frustrating not to know, but I can only promise you this: we're not hiding it from anybody. If you know, I just every time I watch him dunk and make a couple shots last week, I felt good about it. And I see him on the weekend, and you know, and so that's about the same. I don't feel good about it. I just don't. Sorry.
One other thing, really. What's Deli's timetable for return?
I like it. That's good, man. For a guy without a sense of humor, that was pretty good.
That's Twitter. Twitter has some good things.
Twitter wants to know about Deli. Tell him Deli is, he's got the mumps, the measles, the flu, thinking about appendicitis attack tomorrow, and yet I think we're going to play okay without him. Tell Twitter that.
Well, the real question is, you mentioned about Josh and all the things that he represents, but obviously Cassius right now is playing at an extreme level. Could you maybe compare him to where some of the other guys like Draymond and Denzel and Kalen were at the point where they were in contention for the Player of the Year?
Yeah, I would like to do that, because that's a positive thing that I've seen a growth in a kid. You talk about exciting. It's exciting to see a kid grow physically, mentally, maturity, and skill-wise. And he's always had certain skills. I can't take any credit for those skills, the knack that he has, the little flip shots, the ability to pass the ball. But I think his strength, his conditioning, I think his ability defensively, his ability to push the basketball on a regular basis has improved dramatically in the last year. And I think he's, you know, I think there's some good players in this league. I think we just played in front of a great player. I love Carson Edwards. But if you look at what this player has done for this team on a regular basis, and is now doing it with his shot, with his pass, a little bit with his defense. I named the defensive drill after him the other day. You know, we have the Charlie Bell, we have the this, we have the that. And I said, if I told people 2 years ago that I was naming this after you, they would think I went certifiably insane. And we all laughed, but he is getting better defensively. But his conditioning, you know, I mean, he's got a little tendonitis in his knees because just the way it is. And I thought the effort he gave the other day took him to another level, because with other people not playing as well, with the chips down, with the crowd on him, with all the things, he rose up. And that's what Player of the Year type candidates do. They take their game to another level when things aren't perfect. And he's still a guy that would just soon make a pass than make a shot, but he's kind of figuring out when he has to do certain things and when he doesn't. And we have moved him around, like your question, a little more than you think. He's still at the point, but we might bring him off things a little differently, and we're going to have to continue to do that. But they're all dogging him now, you know, they're all coming at him, and he's just rising up to the occasion, and he's doing it with an incredibly humble approach, which is Tom-ish and Miles-ish and Josh-ish, and I think it's just another area that Cassius is separating himself from not only a lot of players that played here, but a lot of players around the country.
Tom, you're 18-3, 9-1 in the Big Ten, and isn't the reality for the people bitching about the freshmen not getting minutes that on a team this good, you're not going to find 5 inexperienced players? So if they want them to play, you're not going to get the record and the experience in what you have. I mean, isn't that just the reality of being a top 10 good program?
Well, I think it is, and I'd like to say this, though. If it's Michigan State people complaining that we're 18-3, shame on you. Shame on you. How about if we take all our energy, for all the people on Twitter, for all the people on talk radio, for all the people here, we take all our energy and we're going to dedicate this week to getting better as a team, as a staff, as a team. And let's let our students and our fans dedicate that to not worrying about what we don't have, but what we do have, and see if we can, you know, make an impression Saturday morning, make an impression Saturday night, and we're back to the days where they do their job and we do our job, and we start looking at the things. I mean, it's a coach's job to pick apart a team because he's with them every day and he knows what they have to offer, what they aren't offering. I'm hoping that I have no problem with fans, you know, wanting to jump off a 10-story building. In fact, I almost like it, because that means they're passionate about their team. But that's why I have no use for Twitter, because when those things start moaning and getting to players, then it's just a shame. So I can't believe that what we've done so far, it has superseded where I thought we'd be. And under the circumstances, it really has. And I'm the first to jump on my team. I'm not the first to applaud them usually, but I am always the first to defend them. And this team has given this place, you writers, our fans, so many good things to feel good about. How they've handled themselves, how they are in school, how they are on the court, how they are to the community, how warm and fuzzy they are to every one of you. I mean, you can't ask for more than I got. So I'm the lucky one. I want to make sure I pass that on to the Twitter people, that you should feel lucky too about what you got here. We're going to continue to get better. But you got to always be good enough to be great and then lucky enough to be elite. You got to be good enough to be great and lucky enough to be elite. You know, the year we won the national championship, Kenyon Martin, remember Kenyon Martin? Some of you guys do, some of you were too young. You weren't even born. So Kenyon Martin breaks his leg in their conference tournament, I think it was. They would have been the 1 seed, we would have been a 2 seed. We were the 1 seed in the Midwest. We might have faced them. They lost in the second game. We went on to win a national championship. There was a time we were lucky enough. We had the appling time in New York when we were unlucky. You know, I don't know what we are yet this year. We're still part of the process, but I know this. To be good enough, you need all your ducks in order. You need the players playing, you need the coaches coaching, you need the fans cheering. Because that helps you win games. I'm not sure without that fan base at Purdue, we wouldn't have come back and gotten it. I'm not sure in the 53 games we won here in a row, I'm not sure our fans didn't win 20 of them. So Twitter has hurt that, guys. And all that stuff out there, all that negative crap. But if somebody's disappointed, whether 19 or 18-3 and what we've done, my phone number is pretty public, right? You all got it. Give it to them. I mean, more than happy to hear from you. Go ahead, Fred.
I'm not used to being this close to you. Not sure
How
I
is
like
it?
it.
Good, bad, different?
I probably read less Twitter than anyone in here other than you.
That's why I like you.
But I'm a little confused because you said something about people jumping off bridges. I don't have that sense.
Oh, I was on a couple shows yesterday.
Okay.
And people said, what do you say to the people that are parachuting off buildings right now?
Yeah.
I wanted to say get a life, but I was polite. You know, I was polite in my own way and said, geez, it's time to hang in there, you know.
From my point, maybe I'm in a different world, but the people I know are saying you were down 23, got within 4 on the road without 2 players. That's almost a moral victory, which is against your religion.
It is against my religion, but tell your wife I appreciated that because I know you're not around a lot of people.
I don't sense that people are jumping off.
Yeah, you know what? And I think people have been great. I think people have been great, but they should be great. They should be great because they got a team that is enjoyable to cover as writers, not the coach, the players, and really to back on that court because they gave you everything. The other day they gave me everything. I mean, there was a time in the film session I laughed. So Cassius brought the ball up. There was about 3.5 minutes left. I think we were down 5. And I mean, he was walking on his knees. And I told him, you know, don't look over at me, I ain't taking you out, you know. And he was walking on his knees, so he dribbled the ball over and the guy started face guarding him and McQuaid was gonna bring the ball to him and Cassius went, you know, go over there. I said, in the film session yesterday, Cass, what are you telling him? And he says, oh, I just wanted to, I said, no, you're telling him, get the hell out of here, I'm tired. And he didn't say nothing. And you know what? He gave me everything he had, but so did those other guys. I mean, we're doing good. We got a good team. We're fun to watch. I want people to get excited about this team because I think, you know, everybody knows last year was a tough year. Those guys bounced back. Those guys, you know, didn't complain about anything. They just went and did their job in the off season. And I don't know about you. I don't know about your wife or the fans you listen to, but at the halfway point, they've done everything I could ask of them. We lost the game to Kansas. We lost the game to Louisville. The first game McQuaid didn't play in. We were reeling then. The freshmen weren't ready. And we lost the game to a very good Purdue team. I mean, they're better than you think. When we beat them bad here, they were going through a tough time. They made some adjustments. They're playing better. And I think Edwards, you know, was taking 25 shots a game. Now he's down to 17, passing it better. That's a very good Purdue team. They're going to beat a lot of people. And what are they, 57-4 or somebody told me they're something crazy in the last 3 years at home.
Third best at home.
Third best in the world.
Across the nation.
So, another question.
Tom, what will it take to get the 3-point back up where you want them to see for the other guys? Is it kind of looking for it more, creating more?
You know, I don't know if we'll get our 3-point shooting. I mean, back to where it was. I don't think we're taking bad shots. I think there's people can defend you a little differently. I mean, you can't make a guy who's not a great three-point shooter. I can't take Gabe and tell him he's Josh tomorrow. I can't take Aaron and tell him he's Arnie. But there's different things that Gabe and Aaron can do that Arnie and Josh didn't do as well. So we just got to take advantage of what they can do, put them in a position to be successful, and not try to make them into somebody they're not. And that's kind of what the week will be like. And we think we've got some ways that we're gonna improve some things. We really do, and we'll see if it works. And I say all that. I mean, we shot 60% in the second half against Purdue, and we played pretty well in a lot of that game against Iowa. And what you also got to realize is these guys have been on a brutal stretch. I mean, 6 out of 10 games are on the road. First half, we played those 4 to 5 on the road. We played 3 in a week. I mean, those things aren't easy to do if you're completely healthy. So other teams are going to have to do it too. We'll see how they fare. But that trip to Iowa and then come back and then leave right away for Purdue, it doesn't leave a lot of time for practicing when you got to get new guys more involved in the schemes and the things you do.
It's one that just defensive fans, even since you said that, I mean, I've only heard people say this is one of the most enjoyable teams they've ever seen. So I think that's sort of been the prevailing thing. But I'm wondering, from Indiana's perspective, when you have a season that is going the way theirs is going, and you've had a few tough seasons sprinkled in there, what can be done? The last time I can remember a team that wasn't having a lot of fun that turned might have been that 14-15 team that made the Final Four, where the come into the starting lineup twice off the bench dynamic. Or what do you do if you're in that sort of situation?
I have enough trouble coaching my own team, so I'm not going to try to coach Indiana's, but Archie's been around a little bit. Like I said, they had a couple injuries early. They had a suspension. I don't know what that deal is. Maybe you guys know more than I do. But he was a player playing 25 minutes a game. I think it was Green. But, confidence goes a little bit. I think you just got to, I don't know the total makeup of his team yet. I'm just starting to study them now. Yesterday and most of today was a lot more about us. I studied a little bit last night and a lot tonight on them. But I mean, everybody's got to go through things, Minnesota went through some things, and I mean, we all got to do it. Look at it the other way. What a way to make your season. Come up here on game day and show the world that you're a very good basketball team. I mean, this is a team that's beaten some good people early. This is a team that the program and the coach have been successful. I don't know what you do. I don't know what their situation is. I really don't. But they've lost a few games. How many did they lose now?
Lost
6. And I guess I can't say I don't think I've ever gone through that. So I don't know. But it's not like they'll be ready to play. It'll be a big game because it'll be a big night. And like everybody else has done, even though we don't think this way, and I don't think it, so I don't blame our fans, but we are Michigan State. And when we travel, we are somebody. And when they come here, we are a standard that they're trying to get to. Maybe not in 1 year, but in a program in general, on a 10 or 20-year basis, we have been consistent. And they'll be going in there and saying, you know what, this is how you measure yourself. And I look at that as a good thing for us. I really do.
Time for 1 or 2 more.
Well, first I'd like to point out the fact that I was in my living room in 2000 when you guys beat Florida watching.
God, you're getting old. Damn.
So, but going back to Josh, I just wanted to get your perspective on, obviously you miss his presence on the floor. But when he isn't able to play at practice and even in the games, he's up sometimes more than the assistants are up. you know, maybe just calling to guys and maybe helping guys out. Just your perspective on watching him do that when he can't physically be in the game.
That's a great question because it gives me a chance to answer about somebody that I can tearfully say been the hardest to see him have an injury. This kid cares about this place more than anybody I know in recent times. You know, Denzel called me last night. Denzel has gotten close with Josh over the years, and you know, Josh is he is a very he's a very religious kid who believes in there's a reason for everything, and this kid has become exactly what you just said. He has become such a good leader. He took on 3 freshmen. That's his roommates, 3 freshmen. Now juniors, you know, especially as we get to be sophomores or juniors, you know, nobody wants to deal with the freshmen. This kid took him on because Tom took him, and he and Tom took Miles, and then Miles and he and Tom took Jaron, and he felt it was his obligation. And that's when I really started to see him growing. He's helped the 2 guys that are kind of replacing him a lot. He has been so good on the bench that I gave him an assistant coach job. When out of bounds plays come, Josh was the one guy that, so if you watch Josh, he's up on every out of bounds call because our guys have a tendency to relax when the ball stops. And in halftime, huddles, in the game, I'd say that Josh has lost a lot because of the injury, not playing. And he's gained an incredible amount as a leader because he figured out that I got to do something to make up for what I can't do. And that is a lesson for all of us, me especially, because I've watched it. You get to see it at a game or in the one practice a week you come to. I get to see it all the time. And you have evaluated it very well. That is exactly what he's become. And you talk about proud. I couldn't do what Josh did. I'd be feeling sorry for myself or ticked off at the world. And that shows you just who he is. I said to him the other day, I said, "You're hanging in there, man. Coach, I'm good. Quit worrying about me. Think about the team." Okay. Shut up, Josh. You're making me sick. I can't act like you, you know. I have so much respect and so much admiration for what that kid is doing right now. And I just hope that things are going to work out for him no matter what it is. But I just hope they work out for him sooner rather than a little later. But at the same time, I am appreciative